Alright guys, so continuing my little head-to-head series, and what I'm doing is I'm just jumping in and out of different sims in between my league races just to see how different cars behave in the different sims. So I thought let's go and do some Formula 3 by looking at RFactor2, which is what we're in now, and I'm going to jump into Automobilista2 after this. Same track, same type of car at least, and we'll see exactly how the two compare. So let's just do maybe a quick installation lap or so, just to kind of see how this car behaves and how the track is and stuff like that. So the car feels very light initially, like very light. Steering is light as well, but also visually the car looks to be quite light. Maybe a bit too light, that's my perception, but okay, and there's a very much steer from the rear and seat of the pants type feel, at least in the force feedback, but that's all good. It still feels okay. Feels nice, it feels okay, like, you know, nothing too exciting, but you know, I'm being informed by what's going on with the car, and I can feel the car sliding around adequately, so you know, everything's good. I do have the force feedback maybe turned down a teeny bit, so I might just up the gain a tiny bit on the wheel, but generally speaking, for the type of test I'm doing here, I just want to see how the car behaves, what the physics tell me. And immediately, as we can see with these kind of junior formulas, even on TV, like, they do and they can tolerate being thrown around a little bit, and I get that with this as well. So yeah, it's all good. And we're on the Grand Prix circuit here, not the endurance with the. Alrighty, that was a bit random. Maybe I just caught the curb wrong and around it went. But yeah, all good. So let's do a hot lap. Okay, the sound is quite bland, maybe. I just know compared to AMS2, which I think AMS2 has a more throaty sound, I believe, but whatever, let's see when we get there. But at the moment, like, this is quite good. I mean, it's communicative. It's the cornering force I would like to be a little higher than what it is, considering the corner force is not too high. The curb interaction arguably could be better, but I do like the feeling of being able to stand on it mid-corner here and just kind of push it around with the rear. It's almost as if the setup is nicely balanced to the point where the car will, you know, have a four-wheel kind of drift, like, see there. Yeah, so the car's set up a little bit snappy, I think, but generally speaking, it's okay. The feedback, like, again, it's not perfect by any means. I think, yeah, I'd like the corner forces to be a bit higher than what they are. But you know, it's adequate for sure. Like, you know, you could have a nice race here on the sim, and everyone would be happy. And like I say, I did have to put a bit of damping into my wheelbase settings just to get the jolts of the curves out, but all in all, everything's quite good. The car behaves kind of as you'd expect as well, hitting those curves there. Yeah, you do get the interaction through the steering wheel, but it's all good. Yeah, I feel, and again, I've never driven an F3 car, right, but I feel that I'm able to, you know, control it from the rear a little bit. It's maybe too much, I don't know, but in saying that, like, it is an entry-level Formula car with, you know, this particular one is 230 horsepower, which is going to be similar to the one we're going to pick up in Automobilista2, so it's going to be somewhat of a similar comparison, a similar one-to-one. Yeah, okay. So it does feel nice. It does feel... You know, sometimes though, I'm not quite sure what the car is going to do until it does it, if that makes sense. So, you know, most other sims, I get kind of, you know, you get that prior warning through the steering wheel going a bit light or heavy or whatever the case might be. But in RFactor2 here, I just feel like I might be missing a tiny bit of that. Or maybe it's just slightly delayed getting to me. But yeah, it's all good. I've flat spotted one of the tires, I think. I can feel a bit of a flat spot vibration going on, so. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll finish this lap, and then we'll jump into Automobilista 2 and see kind of how the F3 in that sim compares to RFactor2. And bumpy, 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 bumpy. Yeah, look, I can turn this comfortably with one hand. Can I do it one? Yeah, I can almost do it like kind of with half grip on the wheel. Turn the car, but yeah, whatever. That could be just down to the steering geometry or whatever. So let's have a quick look at the replay, just so you can see, you know, graphically what. Yeah, let's have a look and unpack this before we jump into Automobilista 2. So, yeah, the sounds are okay. Yeah, I mean, it's nice. It's nice to drive. It feels okay. You know, I could definitely feel a good bit of information on the front, so when the front was starting to wash out a little bit, I could feel it was washing out. I knew it was going to wash out when it happened, and generally speaking, the car felt predictable enough, you know, so it's kind of what I'd expect a junior Formula type car to be, you know, pretty good handling, plenty informative, not too much power, and still have the ability to catch a slide if and when it happens, and we've seen a couple of them. But yeah, you know, they're simple. I don't think there's much to this. In fairness, like, you know, it done what it done. It done it you know, in a simple way. The feedback was okay. You know, again, I don't know if this track is laser scanned or not. I didn't feel a lot of information through the track, so I'm guessing maybe it isn't. But again, I don't know. Like, I'm not a big RF2 player, but I do jump in now and again to drive something like maybe Formula E or these. But let's pause this here. Let's jump into Automobilista 2, see how a similar powered Formula 3 car stacks up, and we'll take it to Nurburgring as well. And yeah, we'll unpack what we find. But let's pause that here, and we'll jump into AMS2. Same car, same track combo. And yeah, we're at the GP layout as well. So this is the one with the tight chicane off the back straight, same as we done in RFactor2. So yeah, we're in the Formula 3, and yeah, the sound of that, wowzers. Yeah, so already, in my unbiased opinion, I think this sounds absolutely amazing. But yeah, on to the important bit, the driving. So let's, what I'll do like just a comfortable paced outlap, and then we will up the pace down for maybe 2 or 3 more laps after that. Now, the first thing I notice is there's a lot more info coming back through the steering wheel on the road surface, right? So there's a couple of bumps I'm starting to feel through the steering, and that might be just down to the fact that maybe this is laser scanned in AMS2. I don't know, to be honest. I'm not an AMS2 expert or anything, but it definitely feels more alive than it did in RFactor. So yeah, let's spot any obvious things. Okay, so just pushing wide there. I could feel it as it happened, just off the crest. So nothing surprising there. The track is a lot bumpier than it is in RF2. Sounds are pretty good. And into the first big heavy braking zone. Trying to stay off those sausages as much as possible. I will hit one on one of the laps. I just want to see how the curb interaction is in this particular car. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into like a quick-ish lap and let's see how this actually handles. Okay, so straight away I'm able to fight the car out of the corners. I can feel what the car is doing a bit better over the bumps, and it is bumpy, this track. This has to be laser scanned, surely. I can feel it when it just lazily drifts around the back of itself. Maybe a bit of setup work needed to get rid of that, but it is a trait with the car that I've noticed. Just trying to be patient, picking up the throttle and dabbing it like Senna a little bit to try and get a bit of momentum. I'm just conscious to try and not let the back diff, or the diff rather, lock the back axle under brakes. 5 gears in this particular Dallara F301. Yeah, it's got 260 horsepower, the one that we drove in RFactor2 at 230, but I purposely then picked the earlier of the two Dallaras on offer in AMS2 just to kind of try and even things out a little bit and make it as comparable as possible. The force feedback in AMS2 immediately is a lot more communicative. Oh, a bit wide. It's definitely more alive over the bumps, and yeah, it gives you that very clear information that when you do get into a bit of a snap moment, you know how much to correct it by. In RFactor2, I didn't really get that. Like, I knew it was in a slide, but didn't know how bad the slide was, if that makes sense. You see there, I'm able just to feel just the right amount of correction to keep it straight. I mean, yeah, this is what I mean. And fucking hell, this is alive, and I'm able to keep it there. For sure, to be quick and competitive, I think in this car I would definitely need a bit more time and a bit more. But this is way more info than I was getting in RF2. Bit deep. I'm going a bit deep into these corners, but we'll do one more quick lap after this one. But immediately what I'm able to find is that the quality of the feedback, what I'm feeling, how I'm feeling it, when I'm feeling it, and what it's given me to react with, it's just the right amount of everything. And I feel, and this is one thing that I like about AMS2 in general that I can say about it, right, that AMS2 allows you to wrestle with the car if you want to. It might not be the quickest way around the track, I don't know, but you're able to do it. Let's touch one of these curbs. Oh yeah, you can definitely feel that. Right, let's try and do one more quickish lap. But yeah, you can definitely feel everything in this, in the right proportions as well. And I'll share my settings. I'm on the default force feedback profile, by the way. I did download some of the custom ones, but I decided, you know, I'll just stick with the defaults to try to remove any biases of what I or somebody else might think good force feedback is. And I just thought, well, just give me the game. Just what the game wants to give me. And the only thing that I did was up the FX slider to 12 out of 100, I think it is. Just to, you know, just give a bit more detail, I guess, on certain surfaces, but yeah, this slap doesn't feel quick, but it's definitely fun, that's for sure. Into the apex, patience, on the throttle to spin it round, and then I'm able to kind of hold it back in a bit of a slip, just to help the rotation. This is very good. Very, very good. Yeah, I'm just not used to, just not used to the actual ratios when to downshift automatically in your head just by listening to the engine note. So yeah, like I say, with a bit more practice, I think we could become fairly competitive in this. Oh, that's a massive lockup. Yeah, it's the feedback and the slip angle is felt very, very well. There's no doubt about it. There's never any doubt. Let us park this here and just kind of get a... yeah, let's get a quick look at the replay. What a shot. But yeah, I mean, this is giving all of the right information at the right time, in the right proportions. And I've said this before, like, my biggest gripe sometimes with RFactor is that you get a lot more road noise and road interaction and not enough cornering force. With this, maybe there was a hint of that, and that's maybe just because of my FX slider is turned up a little bit, like to 12 or something. But generally speaking, this gave the right information. I could feel the cornering load. As the cornering load was building up on the steering wheel, I could feel, in addition to the cornering load, the bumps, and the bumps were in the right kind of proportion, what you'd expect. And not only that, the severity of the bump, or the severity of the curb, or whatever it was, when it interacted with the steering rack, it interacted in a predictable and expected way. Yeah, for Formula 3, this is very, very good. It sounds better, which I think, you know, yeah, just listen to it. I mean, it sounds better. I would argue it looks better, personally speaking. And from a force feedback perspective, I think, for me at least, and I know this is subjective, but for me, it definitely gave a lot more info through the steering wheel. And I'm on a Fanatec DD2, so it, you know, I don't know if that's anything to do with anything, but yeah, I mean, I could definitely notice a marked kind of improvement in AMS2, particularly when it came to like the feedback and the type of feedback that we were feeling. But everything you see there, and I actually noticed a bump just back there on the outside, everything you see there on the suspension arms is exactly what I felt in the car. So yeah, it's done right, and it's not done like in an overpowering way. Sometimes I think an RF2, sometimes the curbs and the bumps can be very jolty, and in my opinion, overdone. But whatever, to each his own. But I think in terms of replicating a, let's say, a Formula 3 type car, I think this done quite a good job. Like, so in, well, they've both done a good job, to be fair. Like in RFactor2, the front end wash felt more comfortable. So when the front washed out a little bit, it was like, it's going to grip back. I'll just have to wait for it, and the grip will come back. And it inspired confidence. With this, when the front end washed, it wasn't so certain. I mean, yes, it could come back, or it could maybe continue on and spin on its nose a little bit, depending on the setup. But I think both are great. Both do a really good job. But for me personally, I think, you know, and bear in mind, these are just the cars that we've tested, right? So RF2 has more models of Formula 3, Formula 4, I think, in there as well, the USF cars in there. So, like I say, I can only go by what I tested, and based off what I tested, I think the AMS one does a really good job of getting extra detail in there that just didn't appear to be present in RF2 for me. And, you know, not just vehicle dynamics, but also if we take that out of it and we focus on how the car actually behaved at the limit, there was more variables in AMS2. Like, so the front was, on occasion, the front was the stronger and the rear would break loose on brakes. Other occasions in AMS2, I'd go in deep on brakes and the front would wash out, where the rear would be the stronger axle. I didn't have that in RFactor2. RFactor2, generally on brakes was the front end washing out. Now that could be setup related for sure, but it's just something I noticed. Yeah, guys, we'll leave it there. Like I say, the junior formulas in both of them are really fun. They're nice to drive, all of that good stuff. But I will say, if you do jump into AMS2, some of the default setups, how these cars are shipped, and I've gone through a few circuits, like on occasion with these, they tend to be a bit tail happy under braking. So just be aware of that. Just make a few changes in the setup if you need to. But yeah, we'll leave it there. Thanks again for watching. Let me know what you think, and if there is something in RF2 that I'm missing in the force feedback for these cars, do let me know, because I hear it everywhere that, you know, RF2 force feedback is the holy grail, it's the mecca, all of that stuff. And I have to be honest, I'm yet to experience that myself, and that, you know, that might be because I'm on a DD2 and not AccuForce or SimuCube or whatever other settings that maybe those wheelbases have that the Fanatec doesn't. I don't know. But yeah, let me know. Let me know in the comments if I'm overlooking something. And yeah, we'll leave it there, guys, until the next one. Thanks again for watching, and yeah, have a good one.